what's up, man? Hit that like button if you're watching the video. You might not like it because you might not like what I got to say, but to me, what this Kanye album supports, what it represents, Jesus is King, his new album. To me, this album really shows you how forgiving and how forgetful black people are. Now, everyone was talking about Amber Geiger and the cop that shot the guy in Dallas, and how everyone was so disgusted how the guy's brother and family forgave this woman. Now, don't get me wrong, murder is a whole nother different seriousness than music. But at the end of the day, we are the most forgiving people, and we forget really fast. I remember everyone being disappointed earlier this year, and was it last year when Kanye was aligning himself with Donald Trump, and he was up there at the White House sitting on his lap wearing his hat, and everybody despises Donald Trump, anybody of color, but it's okay for him to do it. I don't understand. So I'm like, everyone was disappointed by his actions and was calling him a Sambo and an Uncle Tom and a sellout, and then he waits perfectly for the right perfect time. He kept pushing his album back because he had announced this album earlier this year, but he kept pushing it back, pushing it back. And I don't think it was because he was trying to mix it perfectly or finish it up and make it the best. He was waiting. This was Damage Control. He was waiting on the right time where niggas could finally cool off and forget about everything and would still support him. And that's exactly what fucking happened. The album's number one. It was released, I think, yesterday. They've been playing it on the radio. Everyone's bumping it. I'm like, I'm like, yo, y'all are wild. So it's okay for somebody to sell out their race down the river just because of who they are as a celebrity. Like, we're that stuck on celebrity that it's okay for Kanye to align. Anybody else aligns themselves with Donald Trump, y'all call him a sellout. Rightfully so. But he does it, but because he's Kanye, it's all good. Like, at some point, you got to have a backbone and you got to fucking stand for something, my nigga. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And I don't give a fuck how many good beats he can make or what he did back in the day. A sellout is a fucking sellout. To me, he's living off of his past anyway. Because I can't remember the last time he put out an album where majority of the public agreed that it was good. You know what I mean? I stopped fucking listening to him after the Graduation album. That was 2007. You know what I mean? So it's subjective, what you think is good and what you think. I'm hearing mixed reviews. I refuse to listen to it. I was with a friend of mine and they played like two tracks around me, but I can't fuck with no sellout, man. I'm telling you, any other race of people, if whoever's a celebrity in that culture, let's say Jennifer Lopez, Mario Lopez, for example, if they was to align themselves with Donald Trump after all that shit he been talking about, the Latinos and the wall and all of this stuff. He even said something about putting man-eating alligators by the border. Yeah, I mean, if they was to align themselves with Trump after everything he said, do you think them Latinos would support Lopez? And man, hell no. You think if De Niro aligned himself and did some sellout shit, the Italians would still fuck with him? No. We the only people that support sellouts. Steve Harvey made a Flint, Michigan joke, and let's be for real, majority of, not saying all black people, but Steve Harvey has a very popular radio show. It's mainly black people who listen to that. Let's be for real. Is more people listen to his show, believe it or not, than Breakfast Club, if you check the numbers. People still support him. And he was one of the first motherfuckers up there shucking and jiving with Trump. After all that shit he talked. Okay, and niggas still tune in and listen to his radio show faithfully every morning, Monday through Friday from 6 to 10. It's ridiculous. Stop supporting sellouts. I don't get it because he's a celebrity. Who gives a fuck? And this is why we're so disrespected, and your own kind can disrespect you because a traitor of his own race, a sellout of his own race is the worst thing you could be to your people, is to sell your people down the river. Those kind of people don't deserve our money. They don't deserve our respect. They don't deserve our support. But that's what you're doing when you support sellouts like this and you give them an excuse for their fucking Uncle Tomish, coonish behavior. So I'm not listening to the album. He ain't getting none of my fucking money. But, I mean, go ahead if you want to, but I'm not reviewing that shit. And I just don't see how forgiving black folks can be and just roll over and say, oh, but that's Kanye, though. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? Jay-Z pissed everybody off with the NFL deal, but I can guarantee you if he puts out an album in the next 6 months, Niggas, same niggas who was mad, majority of them are gonna listen. Man, that's Hov though. So what? And they know you gonna do it. So he's gonna cool off. You haven't heard Jay make a public statement in a long time since that press conference. He's gonna wait for the perfect time when niggas are forgetful to put out an album, and then it's gonna go. Especially if he got Beyonce on it, you already know what it is. But this album represents the forgetful and the forgiveness that black folks have, and the shit's got to stop. You can't expect these people to respect you if you don't fucking stand up. You know, T.I. tried to get the boycott for Gucci going. It lasted for like 3 weeks. Now Dapper Dan's doing business with Gucci. Gucci Man just did a deal with Gucci. There's no consistency. You know, you got to respect yourself to get respect in return. And as long as we keep rolling over like this, like it's 6 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday and you don't want to get up, this is the kind of fucking behavior that's going to continue on. So that's all I got to say about that, man. Fuck this album.